A very warm welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program with me, Sharabdoji. Here are our top stories for the week. His Holiness the Jekempo presided over the first ever Maitreya's prayer in Punakha. Commissioning of Mandichu hydropower project in Tonsa postponed to December end. And violence against women and children increasing every year in the country. Here are the details. His Holiness the Jekempo presided over the 100,000 recitation of Maitreya's prayers in Kabji Chote Nyingpo in Punakha. Thousands of devotees gathered at the event. The first ever prayer ceremony was held for 3 days and concluded on Tuesday. Customs officials often seize several non-antique items at the Paro airport. The seized items are usually carried by tourists as souvenir. As per the Movable Cultural Property Act of Bhutan 2005, one needs to clear it as non-antique item from the Department of Culture. But the export of antiques is prohibited. And not many seem to be aware of this law.
These are some of the items seized at the Paro airport. The Department of Culture will hand it over to its rightful owners. The department received about 40 such items from the customs office at the airport in the past few weeks. All these items were carried by people leaving the country, especially tourists. They bought it from handicraft shops in the country but failed to get clearance from the department. The department met with members of the Handicraft Association of Bhutan to create awareness about the law.
ngagi nok samle imdoj bewachin da misir disugi da te shemi tashelba disugi hamago ds no digibe tengachi dare ngachi lagzo songham disu chikalu jenzom ji chobe bedalu tele khongi khatule chomda tengachara gi sezin lekhungle te tiu lengo se dele jemi lamdenba inruda tele chong nyomi bedibes churuda gangjin memigi chalagi rigdisu nan antiques se shui te hani disu di te gyakap chikalu babdadu te sezin lekhungle di gangjin me semedigi choktamchi lengo se shunila.
Antiques are a work of art, piece of furniture or decorative objects made at an earlier period or at least 100 years ago. But objects made and consecrated by renowned religious figure and those created by famous artisan and craftsmen are also considered antiques irrespective of age.
Thanalunga jira ta jaganale nyobong migi kup chama chima diswe te tiu gobzum chadam gobzum be te an disunga jira ma gem disugi nyobob dalo namdu thanale te ro custom gi te kongi te chadam ane tiu di mebaletin te ni chom chu di phikhalu bam chu slam nga che gemda chong migi panalu namsame kangil tendiwil
mi mam gira ta chongba berugi 대다 가지라기 다실버는 라비미기 미 가라기 디기 콜레 고아다 남스미치 하마고아 뒤도숨지 송이다 가지 모서진 다 총박이 벼르게 라루지기 람루 하마고아 류두기베 남스미 다도 강일 다 템테가 투미기 루주 디숨지 동이라 가지 모서진 다 잘라 존드 벼르게 다 타나바 바로나 협달로 가지기 바 잘라 나레 종급 종사 텔레파 협달로 로 커스텀기로 탑디우 마디우 Lasha ro chatim da tiu da lu tab diu madiu lasha yubli tin di det pa jinzung be tan zum bo da lo det ro gim lo tab madi.
According to the Department of Culture, once they receive such items from the airport, they carry out thorough verification before handing it over to its rightful owner. However, if the seized items are found to be antiques, the case will reach the court for violating the Movable Cultural Property Act of Bhutan 2005. This is Changa Doji for BBS News.
30 new HIV cases have been detected from June to November 2018. They are housewives, farmers, business persons, drivers, students and minors. Majority of them acquired the disease through unprotected sex. To observe the World AIDS Day, the Health Ministry will organize a national HIV testing week in Thimphu, Phinsaling, Gelifo, Tonsa, Samdrup Jonkar and Punakha from 1st till 8th of December. The deadline for commissioning of the 720 megawatt Mandechu hydropower project in Tonsa has been postponed again. The date has now been changed to December end. This, according to project officials, is due to the delay caused a problem during installation of one of the floodgates at the dam. The project was initially expected to start commissioning towards the end of this month, but a setback during installation of one of the floodgates has again caused the dates to be shifted. Floodgates, or the radial gates, regulate the flow of water at dam side of a hydropower plant. As per the project report, MHPA was set to be completed in 72 months, but it is already in its 81st month.
One of the pin which is holding the end arm of the gate number 2 in the spillway, when it was forced getting manufactured at Mumbai, when it was under machining, we found out that there was a hair crack on the surface. So we rejected the pin, and a new pin was forced at Mumbai workshop, and because of that, this delay of 1 month has taken place. Pin has already arrived at the project, it has been put to the end arm.
According to the project management, the project is almost 99% complete. MHPA will have 4 units of powerhouses which will be capable of generating 180 megawatt of power each. One unit is already complete, while the second one will be completed soon. The 2 units will start commissioning from next month.
Project, once it is commissioned, the power will be evacuated to Alipurduar, West Bengal, via PHPA-2, PHPA-1 transmission system. Tariff negotiation for Magnitude is going on between the two governments. So it will be known soon to us, all of us. The total generation of units per year in Magnitude will be around 3 billion. And I'm sure with this good generation, good revenue is going to come.
The total expenditure incurred as of October this year was little over 46 billion Newton. The Indian government is providing 30% as grant, and Bhutan is availing other 70% as loan at 10% interest per annum for the project. For Pasa in Tronsa, Sharab Doji, BBS News. Much to the dismay of the locals of Takambi in Sakhaling Gyeok in Mongar, 2 community primary schools were shut down this year. The Dzongkhag Tsogdo decided to close the 2 schools due to less enrollment.
Takambi Community Primary School in Sakhaling was established in 1996. It was forced to shut down as there were only 5 students studying in the school. Sharabling Community Primary School is the other school that was shut down due to the same reason. Today, without a school in the Chiok, some children left school while some are enrolled in Sakhaling Primary School, which is 25 kilometers away from the Chiok. The locals expressed the need for early childhood care and development centers or reopen the schools.
Our children cannot go to school alone as the new school is quite far from our village. My son cannot live by himself in hostel as he needs our help to get dressed every morning. So my child had to drop school this year and he is staying home helping us.
Our children are too young right now. We have to go and meet them at the school every week. It was very convenient when we had the school in our Chiok.
As there was no road connectivity till our village, we carried everything on our back while constructing the school. The government then provided us only CGI sheet and cement. Rest were all contributed by the locals.
In December last year, locals also appealed to the Dzongkhag administration to consider reopening the school, but in vain.
We requested the Dzongkhag education officer to consider reopening the school with 8 students. We have also discussed with the public to arrange 3 more children since there were only 5 students left in the school this year. We have also stated in the letter that Dzongkhag may take any decision at their will if we cannot maintain enrollment of up to 8 students.
He said the Dzongkhag education sector closed the schools with the promise of establishing ECCD centers in the Chiok. But there is no sign of any such centers in the Chiok yet.
Te maba nahi ngachi school godam dara de aloche chong di de sunibe de.
The government has agreed to establish early childhood care and development center when the school was closed, but we don't understand why it's taking so long to establish one center. We would be grateful if the government either institute ECCD center or extended classroom for us.
Chebera nanda bachin tengache te chiuki misir te karalu phentom masi.
Dzongkhag Tsogdu chairperson Karma S. Wangchuk said the schools were closed in the interest of promoting quality education. He said the two community primary schools, with just a handful students and teachers, did not ensure quality education. Meanwhile, the chief Dzongkhag education officer Wangchuk said an ECCD center will be established at Takhambi as soon as they get approval from the ministry. For Sonam Sring in Mongar, this is Sring Dandu for BBS News.
And in some good news from abroad, Bhutan's first conjoined twins, Nyima and Dawa, who were separated at the Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne, Australia, were discharged from hospital on Monday. The girls underwent separation surgery on 9th November. They will live in Children First Foundation's Kilmore retreat along with their mother to continue recovery before coming back to Bhutan.
The girls left the hospital in a pram as their mother Bumchusangmo gladly thanked everyone.
Thank you so much, and media, everybody, thank you so much.
The 15-month-old girls who were born joined at the torso and shared a liver were separated in a 6-hour surgery by a team of 25 people. Lead surgeon Dr. Joe Cramery told local news reporters that the twins have made an excellent recovery and that they are now starting to act independently and move around.
A remarkable two girls, girls that we've watched over this journey who started off really attached and bonded to one another, but ultimately frustrated with one another. We saw them become incredibly anxious after the separation when they knew their other twin wasn't immediately in front of them. But ultimately, over the last couple of weeks, we've seen them gain confidence, we've seen them gain independence, we've seen them gain a lot of strength.
He said the two girls need stimulation of other children being around to challenge them, to give them interest, which will do wonders for the girls. He also said the girls will have one more wound check and review. Although the girls are recovering well, Dr. Cramery said it is not yet known when the girls can come back to Bhutan. Kilatem for BBS News.
Number of girl child falling victim to sexual abuse and molestation is increasing every year. 35 child sexual abuse and molestation cases have been reported this year, an increase by 25 cases from last year. Observing the International Day of Elimination of Violence Against Women and Children, the National Commission for Women and Children and Renew launched a community project, a short film, and 2 books to address violence against women and children.
Galifu Tungkak alone saw 17 such cases this year. Renew's Executive Director Tanin Wangmo said 35 cases in a year for a country with a population of little over 700,000 is alarming and calls for stringent laws and policies in dealing with child sexual abuse and molestation. The figure is just the number of cases reported in the media and is exclusive of the cases reported with the police, which imply that there could be more.
This year, I think by the mid of the year, the numbers were much higher than the annual statistics till 2017. And if the numbers are getting higher, if more people are coming forward to report, it's definitely, to me, means that we are not doing enough to prevent domestic violence and sexual abuse of children happening in the communities.
Besides child sexual abuse cases, domestic violence cases are also increasing. Nearly 400 domestic violence cases were reported last year. But what is more alarming is the fact that 74% of women accept domestic violence as justified. In Bhutan, 1 out of every 4 married women between the age group of 15 to 49 reported having experienced some form of domestic violence. To eliminate violence against women and children, National Commission for Women and Children launched the Bhutan pilot Addressing Violence Against Women and Children, a pilot project for Babisa community in Thimphu. The community will lead programs to prevent violence against women and children.
Our program is structured in such a way that it will address family issues, it will address gender equality, it will address how to cope with stress, and all of that. The underlying aim is to address gender-based violence by reaching the core causes of what causes people to, perpetrate violence against women and children.
On the Global Gender Gap Index, Bhutan went down from 93 in 2013 to 121 in 2016. Pupke for BBS News.
Number of women taking part in politics is still very low. This despite the country recording the highest figure of elected women representatives in the parliament this year. The third National Conference on Women in Politics, Leadership and Governance was held in Thimphu to improve the situation.
Today, even after 10 years of democracy, only 15% of Bhutanese politicians are women. Women in Bhutan are closing the gender gap in areas such as education, but significant gender inequality still persists in politics. To discuss on it, a network of female ministers, members of parliament, politicians, and many other women in leadership positions have gathered in Thimphu. They will discuss their experiences, challenges, and ideas on women participation in politics.
A couple of times I was asked, who am I? So I said, do you have a husband, or how many children do you have? So I said, I'm a single mother. So then the question was not really on the manifesto or the political agenda. It was on, who's taking care of your son, while you are on this? And how is he, who's picking him up from schools? And, it was more about that discussion. And then I remember calling some of my male colleagues and asking them, do you ever get asked this question? When you're campaigning, as a male, do you ever get asked who's picking up your son, or who is feeding your children at home? And they said, no, they never get asked.
I got so many criticism from the women's side, like, I So I was like, what the hell? Women, I tried, I got some sense that our women,
In 2011, when I contested for Mangmi, people said that the job of Mangmi is for men. When we stood up for the post of Mangmi, people didn't question men's ability, their education, their thinking, but the moment I stood up, they started saying that Mangmi's job is to do the court cases, and a woman like me may not be able to do it. Then I started thinking that there is no support for me.
The two-day conference is organized by Bhutan Network for Empowering Women and National Commission for Women and Children, two organizations that aim to increase the number and influence of women in political leadership positions. Bhutan has made an improvement by electing 11 women in parliament this year. But the question now is, will the Bhutanese people choose to elect more women in future elections? Samtin Dalkar, BBS News.
The first ever women's edition of Startup Weekend saw women coming forward and making ideas happen. But more importantly, as the program intended to empower and support women, the participants took home the best accessory they could ever wear: confidence.
The participants came up with many ideas, out of which 7 best were pitched in front of the judges yesterday. The interesting similarity in all of the ideas was the passion to branding Bhutan. Team Wool Art and Craft and affordable and creative souvenirs made out of wool won the best idea. Team Droop Naturals, aspiring to make cosmetic products out of all natural ingredients, won the second prize, while Team Najin Sherik came in third. Their concept is to come up with an e-learning platform for teachers and students where they can prepare lesson plans, access teaching and learning materials, results and attendance.
My learning experience has been really massive if you ask me, because firstly I found that team is really important. Before you start anything, you need to have a really good teammate, and also the team working environment should be really good. And the second one is you should have a very good idea, and the third one is your idea should be really practical and feasible.
It was really great experience. At first I did not have any ideas about business, but now if someone asks me about business, I can confidently tell them or give them some ideas.
So this is the very first startup I've ever attended to, and plus it's for women. So I think that I did not know that women in Bhutan were so capable of so many things. It really inspires me, and I hope it inspired them. And also, I've learned a massive amount of things about business.
The Women's Startup Weekend was also the first time where a community came together to own and organize the event. 18 women took part in the event. Sunampem for BBS News.
It was Kuru tournaments, and now it's archery, where women are breaking the gender barriers. Dojidema, a 35-year-old housewife, competed in an archery tournament in Paro, which has been a male-dominated sport for decades.
Dojidema, surrounded by men, pulls the drawstring, takes aim and releases the arrow. It's a hit. The audiences, mostly men, applauds her performance. It is uncommon for women to play archery tournaments in the country, and almost unheard of for women to compete with men. And playing a distance of 145 meters was practically unthinkable. But Dojidema does it. She hit 36 carries in 60 rounds and qualified her team to quarterfinals. But she is not at all new to the sport. Dorji once represented Bhutan in the Olympics and international tournaments. After Dorji's last match in South Korea some 10 years ago, she resigned to give birth to her son and never thought that she would make a comeback. Today, she is the first woman to play an archery tournament amongst 179 men and hitting the targets as much as men.
Many support, but a few elders are shocked because they have not seen any women playing a distance of 145 meters. But it is your interest. If you are interested, you should not be thinking of what others say and get discouraged. No matter what people say, if you do what you like doing with hard work, practice and without hesitation, it is possible.
Dojidema is from Gangju in Langgugil. The mother of 3 had to give up her passion for archery to shoulder a responsibility of a mother and a daughter to her sickly father.
I had to resign from national team because my dad was sick and I had to look after him. From 2018, I could not play.
Having played archery since she was 16, Dojidema, after her 3rd child, decided to give her passion one more chance.
I have to send my children to school. My husband has to go with tourists and I have to look after the homestay here. It is very difficult during tourist season, but I try to make time to practice. I wake up early and stay late night so that I get time to practice archery.
Her passion is sometimes met with criticism. Some mock the men in her team for having her in their team. Dorji, along with her brother and cousin, makes the team.
Just with courage and determination, women can't play, though they are interested. Even if they come, they are hesitant. They need little bit of support. So this year, I asked Doji to join our team. It might encourage women to play archery in future.
With the support of the organizer and her brothers, Doji is now looking for a team of women to compete in Youngfell Archery Tournament in 2020. Like Doji, many women might come out of their comfort zone and act boldly to change things when many in Bhutan and across the world are still struggling to come out of the cocoon of gender stereotypes. For Sangeet Shazom in Paro, Bukkem for BBS News.
Well, that's all we have for you this week. Join us again next time for another edition of Bhutan This Week. Until then, this is Sheriff Doji saying goodbye.